back to Yakob Sayuri, wearing number 2. He was spotted playing right by the border of Papua New Guinea in the far east of Indonesia, where
make sure you're not missing out on talent spread across the country. He's got his brother as well, Yakob Sayuri, who also is a professional footballer.
And called up the national team a year later. So he's an example of a success story in Indonesia of finding Yakob Sayuri, who plays for PSM Makassar, the champions of the Indonesian top flight Liga 1 last season. 4th club of his career. He's a very interesting case, is Sayuri. We'll return to his story because Indonesia is trying to write a new chapter in this match, but they don't get the delivery right. Just back to Yakob Sayuri, wearing number 2. He was spotted playing effectively kick-around football in his hometown. He's from Yapen, right by the border of Papua New Guinea in the far east of Indonesia, where one of the 700 languages are spoken in Indonesia. It's Papuan Malay, or over 700 languages I should say. He was just spotted by a former national team player who said, you know what, you're actually rather good. He was then put into the 3rd tier of Indonesian football, moved to the top league in 2019 and called up the national team a year later. So he's an example of a success story in Indonesia of finding a very good player in the middle of nowhere, and in a nation of 17,500 islands there's a lot of middle of nowheres.
Yeah, you can say that about a lot of other places around the world as well, and one of the challenges of scouting and trying to make sure you're not missing out on talent spread across the country. He's got his brother as well, Yakob Sayuri, who also is a professional footballer.
Yes, they got double their money there, didn't they, when they found that pair?
It really is, to your point, fascinating how associations try and deal with these challenges, whether they're able to actually have scouts in various parts of the country traveling around looking for or to unearth talent across the land.
Well, you've got a player like Egi Maulana on the bench who is from Medan in North Sumatra province in the northwest of Indonesia. That is 2,600 miles from where Yakob Sayuri calls home in the far east of Indonesia.